And today we're going to be breaking down a red. Today we got a red helium here, but if you're working with a red or potentially are renting a red on your next project, this will kind of serve as a template as how we like to build the red. We'll kind of navigate the different aspects around the outside of the camera while also just, showing you how we like to drive the menus and get certain settings. So yeah, let's jump right in. And one last little pro tip before moving into the menus is here on the side of the monitor, you have two buttons. Similar to the front of the camera, you have a 1 and a 2. Most reds, depending on where you're renting them, the preset for these buttons are digital zoom and false color. I can't tell you how useful these are. If they are not programmed that way, it's pretty easy to go in the menus and change what this button does and what this button does. But essentially, if you are kind of a one-man band, run and gun, you're pulling your own focus, by tapping this button, it'll snap the camera in. It'll digitally enhance the footage by 200% and allow you to pull focus to like the person's eye or whatever. And then you can tap the button again and it'll go back to normal. So it's a really quick way. This monitor has a lot of capabilities where if you are like a one-man band, pulling your own focus, doing your, all your own stuff, this allows you to kind of quickly snap in and grab focus. The only caveat is this function does not work if you really want to make sure that it's selected on Rec 709. And then these two I actually find are very cool. You have the tone map, which right now is set to low contrast, and you have the option of low, medium, or high. I'm a fan of low contrast just because a lot of my sensibilities as a DP are using haze and filters. So it's cool that the camera actually allows you to get a built-in low con look. But maybe you're shooting an action film, or maybe you're shooting something like a poppy rap or poppy beauty video. You can set a look in camera. None of this is destructive. You're not forced to use this look later. It's more or less just to get a look on set that can inspire the director and the other departments to let you know, hey, this is how the image could look. But in post, if you do not like how this looks, none of these are permanent. They're basically just ways of viewing your image on set. But I always like to leave it in low contrast. And then next up is the highlight roll off. But I always like to leave it at very soft just because I'm a fan of glimmer glass and black pro mist and dream effects. I love when my highlights feel a little more soft. It feels very film-like. So in the red, this is actually a really cool setting. And if it's a little too much, you could easily go soft or medium and probably still get great results. I like very soft. That's just my personal preference. So if you kind of want to like the Jake and Tom secret sauce, this is literally it. Like, this is the vault. These are our settings for how we drive and control and get the best looking images out of our red. And one last thing too, just sort of touching on, I mentioned how you can edit any of these parameters. So you can edit the frame rate by tapping advanced. You can do the same in a lot of these other tabs too. So for instance, if I was in Kelvin, if you hit advanced over here, you can actually add tint to your footage. So if you want to, it's basically just a calculator. So you can hit the add button, you can add 20 and then just hit OK. And now you've added 20 minus 20, but you've added magenta to your footage. Kelvin is right here. You do have some preset ones like tungsten, fluorescent flash. I honestly wouldn't use those. I like to be very picky. So I'll go in here and sometimes even do like 42 or, whatever. You can or 4200. You can essentially be super choosy with all these presets here. And then just know by hitting advanced, you can adjust the tint and sort of further dial it. This could technically be 4000, 2050. Like if you really knew you wanted to be at that, you can. Like you can get super picky if you felt like you needed to.